Today is a very sad day in the filmmaking world. Today we lost someone who has had a huge impact, not only on modern culture, but filmmaking in general. And although most people may have never heard of this man, they definitely have heard of his legacy. The world of directing and screenwriting isn't a very lavish and rewarding world. Often your ideas are shot down by big Hollywood executives in favor of a more safe and secure money profiting road. It's not a very glamorous life to be a director or a screenwriter. The public usually would rather focus on the handsome and beautiful people. Yeah, oh no, pay no attention to scruffy-haired Peter Jackson. Oh, pay no mind to Joss Whedon. No, they have only brought you some of the most innovative and intriguing stories of the last few years. I mean, who would care about them? They're the ones behind the camera. In the 1980s, pop culture was on the rise, and there was one man who was in the forefront of it, but not in fashion or in music, but in understanding. One man in Hollywood knew and understood what it was like to be a teenager and to go through the shitty hellhole that is 4 years of high school. And although, like I said, many of you may have never heard of him, you most certainly will have known his work. John Hughes started off as a writer for National Lampoon's magazine, but would go on to write and direct such cult classic films as Breakfast Club, Pretty in Pink, 16 Candles, and Ferris Bueller's Day Off, giving notable first performances to Molly Ringwald and many other people. Hughes' compassion for the struggling teenager earned him a place of immortality in the 80s. His movies were not only hip and cool, but they dove deep into the problems that all kids struggle with, such as depression, trying to be the perfect son all the time, not being smart enough, maybe being the outcast, not being able to get a date, and many of the other problems that we all face. He dealt with each one of these problems and gave them the attention they deserved, as a loving father would deal with a crying child. In my mind, he's one of Hollywood's most overlooked writers. But his talents did not just end at screenwriting stories about kids. Hughes also had a humorous side that America latched onto. He wrote hilarious, heartwarming comedies, including Uncle Buck, starring the late John Candy, Home Alone, which notably gave start to Macaulay Culkin, 101 Dalmatians, the live adaptation, Beethoven the original, and Dennis the Menace, along with Flubber. In my mind, John Hughes was an icon, a titan in the film industry, though he never wanted to be thought of as such. He was a well-rounded director and writer with skills I doubt we will see again anytime soon. He was a man that often kept himself, rarely giving interviews or appearing in public. In fact, the last picture taken of him in the public eye was back in 2001. He had since retired from the filmmaking industry, deciding to get out while ahead, and took up farming in Illinois. Sadly, though, today on August 6th, in the year 2009, while walking in Manhattan where he was visiting some family, John Hughes suffered a fatal heart attack and died in the early hours of the morning. He is survived by his widow and sons, along with grandchildren, and while I know his family must be in mourning at this time, I would like to offer my comforts. Though they may only be that of a stupid kid in the suburbs of California, they are all I have to offer, and to say that their father, husband, and grandfather was a man who in my eyes was a hero, and is one of the reasons that I got into filmmaking. I want to thank John Hughes for all that he did, and I hope that he's in a better place. And to his family, my heart goes out to you. John Hughes was 59.
If you were here, I could deceive you. And if you were here, you would believe. Or would you suspect why you're more